One of the things that people get exercised about, especially when they're buying a house, but indeed when they're selling, is the closing date. People get very fixated on the closing date, and some people seem to think that buying a house is like buying a 2 litre of milk or something. In other words, you can decide to rock up to Super Value in Enfield and buy a 2 litre of milk. You can do that, no problem. But when it comes to the purchase or property sales and purchases and closing dates, it's a different situation. The closing date is the closing date until it changes or moves, and it can change and move quite easily. So you really must accept that. It's a stressful time buying or selling property, and I think I've made a video about that just to make that point, that it is a stressful time, and the best thing you can do at the outset is accept that it's a stressful time and not be unhinged or discommoded too much if something goes wrong, or if there's a delay or a hold up or whatever, because there are so many moving parts. There's a solicitor acting for both sides, there's the planning issues, there's certificates of compliance, there's structural survey, there's probably going to be a bank. Their requirements will have to be fulfilled. There's going to be life assurance, home insurance. So there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of pieces of a puzzle, pieces of a jigsaw, which must fall into place before the whole transaction can be consummated and completed and so on. So closing date is a closing date, that's fine, but often, very, very often, closing dates change and move, and with the best will in the world, you really must accept, one, that buying or selling property is a stressful activity, it's a stressful time, and you really need to be prepared for that. And two, closing dates are, to a great extent, aspirational. In other words, they can be written into the contract and so on, but things change, circumstances change, difficulties can arise, and you really need to accept and not get too discommoded, not be too put out of sorts if your closing date or if the transaction doesn't complete on the day that you expect it. I know you're going to have a difficulty in terms of organising moving vans and moving trucks and various other arrangements that you have to make, but you really do have to understand that property transaction has a lot of things, a lot of moving parts, as I say, which must fall into place for the completion of the transaction. And for that reason, closing date will be written into the contract, but it's not cast in stone. It can change. And to put it in context, if you want to get legal about a closing date or a sale not completing on the closing date, it's open to you as either vendor or purchaser to serve a 28-day notice. That kind of puts it in context, because if you think about it, if a sale is put back, for example, by 5 days, a week, 10 days, and you're not happy with it and you want to take action, the action you have to take is actually to serve a 28-day notice. So now you've gone from a 7-day delay or 5-day delay or 2-week delay to perhaps at least a 28-day delay. So the law is not going to come to your rescue to any great extent there. In other words, you really do need to roll with the punches and just accept that it's a stressful time and that closing dates can move. Hope you find this video useful. If you do, I'd appreciate if you gave it the thumbs up down below. Thanks a lot.